Hey, it's your old pal Slim, and this is 70mm podcast for movie lovers just like you. Disclaimer at the top of this show. We are not experts, but we love watching movies. With me each and every episode is my close friend and artist, Danny Haas.
Hello.
And our close friend and erotic thriller expert, Protolexis.
We're just normal men. Just innocent men.
So dumb. Every movie that we cover is connected to a theme for that month, and this time it's Blockbusted Volume 3, movies that underperformed or overperformed at the box office. You can use the chapters in your podcast app to skip right to our main discussion from 1992 and Paul Verhoeven, Basic Instinct.
Wait, does Basic Instinct fit Busted?
Yeah, in a manner of speaking. Yes.
You're right. You're right.
But it also overperformed. Did you see the box office for this?
Insane
It's
numbers.
almost $400 million.
Wow.
People were ready in 1992 to bust, I think.
God.
Oh.
$50 million budget. I don't know if this is true, but I also read that Sharon Stone, this was like her breakout role, but she only was paid like 500 grand or something.
Yeah. Where else did this budget go?
Michael Douglas, Fluffers, the Gooch budget.
Ice Picks.
But the big story tonight, folks. Breaking news this week, sending movie communities in a tizzy. You know, the conflicts that they have to be excited for this. Denis Villeneuve doing Bond at Amazon. Amazon rolled up a truck of cash.
Yeah.
And I would assume gold doubloons for Denny to direct the next Bond film. Danny, you are our resident Bond expert. So this I would love to get your take on this news.
I mean, great director. He's always got a great vision, right? So I'm excited. I'm excited that it's, I don't know, actually. I am excited. I'm cautiously optimistic, I guess. I'm not terribly worried about his direction because we know he can do it.
Right.
I guess the story's going to matter. The casting's going to matter.
If you were to cast right now, if you were a VP at Amazon in charge of Downstream Impact and the Bond franchise,
who would I cast?
Bond
as
DSI.
Bond?
Who would you cast in the lead role?
I don't know. I really don't know. Cavill comes to mind. Michael Cera comes to mind.
I'm not. What if Michael Cera is Q? Can we make him Q?
Oh,
that'd be great. Or Moneypenny. We'll make Michael Cera Moneypenny.
Proto, how do you feel, Pro? Denny.
Well, I guess in terms of just general news for a franchise to get a director, I feel like this is the safest hands I could imagine. At least not in just terms of a movie doing good, because I think coming off of Dune, I think it's almost like impossible that this movie will now fail. Like, I mean, Denis Villeneuve, it's a Nolan movie. Like you're just going to have to see it. And with Bond, it's an instant, like it's just going to be a success. So I'm sure all the executives are just like slapping each other on the back. Like, we did it. My question is like, will this be any different than a Sam Mendes Bond movie? Right. Because it feels like those are the kind of movies he makes. So I'd be surprised. And like, I feel like within our conversations of Bond in the past couple of years, we've said like, well, what if it's a period piece? It's set in the 60s. What if it's, more fun, back to the playful Bond? And I just can't, like, I can't see it.
Now, yeah,
I don't see Denny doing that. I mean, it would be amazing. Who knows? Maybe he surprises us and does something like that. But I don't know. My other question is this just going to be a single movie, or is he going to be worked into a trilogy? And now we have him doing Bond movies for a decade.
Bond Messiah.
There's no way he's signed up for a trilogy. I can't imagine.
I'm surprised he's going right back into another like tentpole franchise.
Yeah.
Right? It's been a while
It had
since he
to have been
did
a
his
ton of
own
money.
little thing.
It had to have been a ton of money.
It had maybe a bill. Half bill?
Half bill.
How much
for
money do they have?
Danny,
I mean, look at how much money they're spending on this Lord of the Rings show that no one's watching.
Right?
Just a reminder,
Exactly.
there's a Lord of the Rings television show, folks. It's
Yeah.
on Amazon. Did you know
Right.
that?
Oh, yeah.
Just gotta
Great
let them
show.
know. We referenced Sam Mendes Bond, but technically only one of those movies is good. It's Skyfall.
Not
Oof.
even Casino Royale?
I'm talking about Sam. Sam directed.
I thought you meant of Daniel's movies.
No. Because remember, he did Spectre, but we don't
You
have to
don't
get
like
into
Spectre.
Spectre.
We don't have
Is
to.
Spectre almost destroyed the entire franchise. There would have been nothing for Amazon to purchase
don't-
from MGM after Spectre.
I don't know if I agree with you, but yes, Skyfall is his best.
I will also say that Spectre did not have a certain cinematographer that shall go unnamed,
It's a great
and
point.
Skyfall did.
It's a great point.
Hmm.
It's a great point.
Just pointing that out. So we'll see. We will be covering this story. I promise you, we will be covering it every week as long as it takes to get to that
Yeah.
Denny Bond movie. Watch this space. Say hello to Wilson and Harris, who joined our Patreon this week. Got access to uncut episodes, longer episodes. There's no editing. Anything goes. We talk about in those episodes. Last week, we got into some hot topics.
Did we?
Very hot topics in the world news space.
Oh,
$4 a month. But Harris became an intern, paid a little bit more. And Harris is going to be getting access to our Indiana Jones commentary. We're doing a Jaws commentary at some point in the future.
mm-hmm.
So sign up. Also, discounts on Danny's prints. VHSvillage.com.
The Village.
We had a lot of
sorry.
ideas flying this week for new merch.
I mean, you were
Yeah.
you were chomping at the bit. You must have been on eBay buying shirts. Shirts on the.
I'm going to say it on the
brain.
show. I suggested,
Say it.
Katie, I have some reviews lined up. Listen, we'll add into the show. Proto, you want to read some more reviews? Community reviews
Oh, yeah,
at the end
sure.
of the show?
Yeah. I'll get the review machine.
We'll community
booted up.
review it.
Get it ready.
What was I saying? Oh yeah, my idea. I said,
Yeah.
Danny, what if picture a T-shirt,
Yeah.
with a 70mm logo on the front and the top heart area, but the poster on the back of the shirt,
Mm-hmm.
like some of the examples I said, like the Blade Runner poster,
Yeah.
just to name a few.
I mean, you first named Magnolia because you want that.
I'm saying that it would look awesome on the back of a T-shirt. You see these
You're right.
T-shirt companies doing limited drops.
Yeah.
Getting people frothy. Maybe we need to do that.
We do limited drops.
If you want to
Right.
get frothy, let us know. You would buy a shirt with a
Oh.
poster design on the back. Because I think that'd be pretty sick.
I'm looking at, how about the Truman Show poster with
Mhm.
the shirt is the color of the background,
Okay.
Oh.
and then it's just like the negative space. You take advantage of the negative space,
Yeah.
right? And then it's just the clouds,
I
Truman.
love negative space. I'm being serious.
Okay, I couldn't
wasn't
tell. I
fucking with
couldn't
you.
tell with your delivery.
Sorry.
That
Sorry, that was
sentence.
a little sassy. I do. It's like my bread and butter.
Proto, you watched something this week that I want to get into. You watched a documentary,
Did he?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I did.
What doc?
Director and the Jedi.
Oh,
Director and the Jedi.
what prompted this?
Yeah.
Well, I've got another confession to make. A few
Oh,
weeks ago,
no.
we also talked about me purchasing a trilogy of books,
Oh,
Star Wars books. We talked about this in the Uncut because I was looking on Amazon at the Thrawn trilogy, Heir to the Empire, Dark Forces Rising, and I didn't buy the new trilogy online because I actually went to eBay
oh,
and I bought the original
Thrifting.
paperbacks. I started
Oh, you
thrifting
thrifted.
books. Yeah, so I got those books, and I've already finished Heir to the Empire.
hell yes.
Incredibly easy read. I mean, you breeze through it. It's just, I'm having the time of my life with Luke
Mm.
and Leia and Chewie and Han and Lando and Thrawn. We're just having the time of our lives as these folks, they're just battling, the mind games. The the political intrigue. It's been a great ride, and it has me just thinking a lot about, I guess, Star Wars in general and the what ifs. You know, I keep thinking of like, what if this trilogy, like, what if they just turned this trilogy into movies? Like, why didn't this happen? Is there a documentary that'll explain why this didn't happen? But it also had me thinking about what we got in the sequel trilogy. And then I remembered that I always wanted to watch this doc. And every time I go to look, it's like, oh, it's never streaming. And then I had this thought like, oh, I think someone said this is in the extras on Disney Plus. And then I went and looked and it's there. So it doesn't show up on Letterboxd as in Disney Plus, but you can watch it there.
This was your first watch of this?
Yeah, I'd never seen this before.
Oh,
It was historically hard to track down. Like if you didn't own the physical copy of Last Jedi, like you couldn't really watch it.
Yeah, so this is for those who haven't seen it, it's like 90 minutes of like behind the scenes of them making The Last Jedi. I mean, it's a ton of footage with Rian Johnson. I mean, you see his process, him talking to Hamill. I mean, talking to everybody. You see some of the sets. The only downside is that it's so short. Like you could, you know, I mean, they're talking, you know, hundreds of days. I don't know how many days they were shooting, but it sounded like at least over 100. And just like their schedule and all this stuff and all these different locations they did. I think they said like they were 50 days in and they still had 44 sets to build for the movie. Just like insane stuff of like the planning that goes. It was just so fascinating seeing what went into making a Star Wars movie, and just how candid everyone was, and just Rian, I don't know. It's just amazing. It made me sad that like they didn't, like, why didn't he make the third one? It's just, it's just upsetting after you see something like this and the care that he put into it and the way he thought about it and just how he was in control of everyone and everyone just singing his praises. The whole team. I mean, like
everyone on set was like, "What an amazing! I can't wait to see this amazing experience."
Yeah, Carrie Fisher, she was so funny. She said something about him just like being so tough, but also like being amazing and having such a vision. And like once you're on board, it's fantastic. And so, yeah, I finally got to see that. Great doc to check out.
There's a moment I think about where I think he either gets the call or he talks about getting his first call from George Lucas. And he was just like so smitten. It was so funny. Like he just met his hero. It was just like a pure moment for him.
Yeah. They, in the doc, they say something like, "Oh, George wants to see you tonight." And Ryan's like, okay. But they don't show that. I thought we were going to see him and George together.
Oh, dang. So one of the things that I loved about this doc was it's candid to the point where like Mark and Ryan, they disagree on almost every one of Ryan's decisions for Luke. And Hamill doesn't hold back. And as we know, he didn't hold back on the press tour and it fucked up. But how did you view that in the documentary, Proto?
I thought it was actually going to be much more harsh because I had heard when you guys talked about it, I was anticipating Mark Hamill being much more, I don't know, like not aggressive, but just like confrontational or just having a moment where he really gives Ryan his opinion. But it's also pretty impressive how gracious Mark was, where it's kind of like he aired his grievances and was like, you know, this isn't how I see this character. I would not do it this way. And I'm upset that you're doing it this way. But then he was able to like move past it and be like, but I'm going to try to fulfill the vision you have for this movie. And when you look at the final product, it seems like, you know, he did. Like, he doesn't seem like Mark Hamill didn't seem like he was phoning it in at all. You know, he gives it his all in the movie. So just even knowing that, because even as you hear Mark Hamill like on the set talking to people, like you could, like, this is part of his identity, Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't see it almost like he's like, I am Luke. You know, it's not like I play this character. He like equates himself with Luke Skywalker. So to be able to be in that place after all of these years waiting for your turn to come back to Star Wars and you not be happy about it, I was really impressed by like how he handled it overall.
I mean, I would disagree. I still hold a grudge against Mark Hamill because of him saying
the press stuff
publicly when the press tour was starting that he didn't agree with him and he didn't like the direction. I just wish he would have kept that private. until the movie was out.
Until the doc was out.
Until the doc was out. Let the doc speak for itself.
Did that allow the
Because
mob to form?
That
those words?
in my opinion, the mob
He pre-mobbed it.
he primed the mob. He pumped the mob.
He threw the
primed
Molotov
them.
cocktail.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I just like that. It was just so crushing. I felt like for Ryan, like when he says that and the movie's like coming out, it's just like, God damn it, Mark. Can you just keep your mouth shut until the movie's out? But I understand where Mark's coming from. Anything else, Proto?
Well, you know, it's the summer, it's hot. So I watched another movie that's been on my list for a while, The Swimmer. This is from 1968. It's been on the Criterion for a while. I see like reviews pop up for it every now and then on Letterboxd. It has a great poster. I love the poster. It stars Burt Lancaster, which he is a man's man. He's got an amazing dad bod in this.
Respect it.
I don't think I've ever seen him in anything before this that I know of. It's a really fascinating movie. It's the story of this guy. It starts with him going to a friend's house. He like kind of comes out of the woods and he's in a bathing suit and he's at his friend's backyard and they have a pool and he jumps in and he swims and then he has a conversation with them and he has this idea that I'm going to swim home. And it's basically like across the county over the course of like 10 different properties that have pools. And he just kind of like, this is what I'm going to do. And it sounds kind of weird. But the movie's like that. It's surreal. It's like shot in like this really dreamy way with like, just tonally gives like strange vibes through the whole thing. It almost feels like a dream. Then he has interactions at the pool, at each pool. So I loved like the story and the setup, but in a lot of ways, it reminded me like the way it was directed and produced. It reminded me of like a Brady Bunch episode at the same time, which was so weird. And I did not really care for Burt Lancaster. Like, he's a pretty tough watch to me in this. But I was talking with some folks in the Discord were talking, or in my review, I said like I would love to see a remake of this, and then Hillary said like her and Zanum were saying the same thing, and they would love to see like Ryan Gosling in a remake. I was thinking I would love to see Ben Affleck. So if anyone has Ben Zier, get him in a Swimmer remake.
I searched Lancaster's filmography. I have seen Judgment at Nuremberg. He plays a German judge in that wild movie. It's the
this is an old one too.
The movie of the like Nazi trials, 1947.
It says he's in Field of Dreams, but I haven't seen that in so long. I have no memory.
Burt Lancaster's in Field of Dreams?
That's what it's saying.
Plays Doc Moonlight Graham.
Okay.
You heard it here first.
Okay.
Every week we give out a free year of Letterboxd Patron. And when I'm editing, I realize that sometimes I say pro, but then I say patron. It's very confusing to me in the editing bay. It's patron. Custom posters, backdrops, no ads, a host of other features. Tag your review 70mm pod on Letterboxd to follow along with us as we watch these movies. Basic Instinct got tagged. From Daniel Kira. 2.5 stars. Woof. I'm a millennial man, once a millennial boy.
Okay.
All the lore surrounding that scene, and not once did anyone mention that it cuts back to a close-up of Newman. Psychological horror. Everyone seems kind of bad at sex, ? I don't know about that.
We'll get into it.
We'll get into it. Believe me.
Yeah.
We will be grading every position and move at the bottom of the hour in this show.
There's like 2.
Top and bottom, folks. Danny, you watched F1 finally.
Oh, baby. Did I? Last night, F1.
Top and bottom.
Top and bottom. I mean, my top and bottom is pained because we went to 40X for F1. So my back is...
It's like a roller coaster, right? Like your chair moves up and down and stuff?
There are moments, honest to God, there are moments where I thought I was going to come out of my seat. Like, I'm like holding myself in. Yeah, I thought it was going to throw me forward.
Oh my God.
Like there's moments in the film when you see a car wreck coming and you just kind of grab the seat because you know it's going to throw you around for a bit, and it's brutal. I mean, I don't know if I'll ever do 40X again, if I can be honest.
Can't believe you did it.
This may be it. But yeah, Joseph is back. Another summer blockbuster from him after Maverick. And it fills that kind of formula of old man coming back to teach the kids how to, drive fast, be fast, be better. And I had a great time watching this. I gave 4.5 stars. 4.5. It's funny because I don't know. I know F1 is huge now in the world, but this feels very specific to F1 fans. I don't know if people who don't like the sport will actually like this movie because it's very F1 driven. And it was funny because I wore my like Ferrari team shirt, thinking me and Fam from the Twin Vipers podcast. We wore our Ferrari team shirts, thinking
you were cool.
Just because. And then, oh yeah, we could be the only idiots in the theater. Honest to God, we were like, the whole theater had their like teams on. There was like Mercedes teams, the Red Bull teams, Aston Martin. Like everyone had their team uniforms on.
It's like Phantom Menace. Everyone dressed like Jar Jar Binks.
Right? It almost felt like an opening night of a Star Wars film. So then everyone was having a great time. So yeah, I gave it 4.5 stars. I had a great time. I mean, it's a summer movie. This is what it's all about, people.
Kaczynski.
He doesn't miss. I mean, when's the last time Kaczynski's ever missed?
We can't get into it.
I know.
We don't have the time.
It may never have happened. I did also make it to the theater to see The Materialists.
Oh. Celine Song. We talk about not missing. She still hasn't missed. Past Lives.
Past Lives is a perfect film. I had a great time watching Materialists. I really loved the story. I thought the acting was... I was worried because I think I am like Pedro'd out a little bit. So I wasn't sure how much I'd love him in this. And I like Chris enough. But I think Chris needs to be in more little rom-coms. I think I liked his role in this as the used to be boyfriend. But Pedro also surprised me. I thought he was really great in this film. His performance was really, really good. Yeah.
I like the press tour with the three of them.
They've been pretty funny.
Dakota's pretty funny too, I think.
Dakota is funny, and she's great in this as well. I don't have like a lot of Dakota films to like, judge her
50
acting
Shades
ability. I haven't seen 50 Shades, but I did love Suspiria remake. So yeah, she's great. I mean, it's a great film. It's a summer rom-com.
Right. It's like her love letter to rom-coms, I feel like.
Pretty much. And I mean, it's got Celine's fingerprint all over the filmography of this. It's just beautiful. Another great time.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You might have convinced me.
Oh, date night?
You don't like Chris though, right? If I'm not mistaken. You're not a big Chris Evans fan.
I don't know. Like I liked him in Knives Out, which when I think of like his more recent movies, I think it's just the whole Captain America thing kind of throws you a curveball.
Yeah.
But maybe he's the next Billy Crystal.
Oh,
rom-com king.
It's a great point.
That was a good time.
I will say, seeing Chris outside of like a blockbuster film, I still feel like Knives Out was also a big event thing. Seeing him in these smaller roles, I think he's a lot better than I would assume. Because I don't know, you can't phone in really a Marvel movie, but you kind of can. And so I don't really judge people's acting abilities in Marvel films. But Chris is great in this. So is Pedro. I was surprised how good Pedro was.
Love Pedro. Love him. Love season 2 of The Last of Us. I'm the only person on the planet that loved that season.
I think you're the only one that watched it. I don't know anybody else has watched that.
Thought it was a great season. Look, when you can watch television shows in a bubble and not be impacted by the internet, it's heaven, folks.
It's true.
Absolute heaven. Speaking of heaven, sexual heaven, Basic Instinct 1992, episode 270. We are launching Sexual Michael Douglas Week. Every 5th week of the month, we will be covering a horny Michael Douglas film, and there are many. There's one with Demi Moore that I got my eye on.
Which one's Fatal Attraction? Is she in Fatal Attraction?
No, Demi Moore's in Disclosure. And I think it's like role reverse, where like Michael Douglas doesn't want to bone, but she does.
And she kills
I think
him?
she's like his boss or something.
Okay.
Oh, boss baby.
Yeah. There's folks, look it up. We'll get there.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. Proto, what is Basic Instinct all about?
Detective Nick Shooter Curran has got his life together. Other than his nicotine, cocaine, and alcohol addictions, and the guilt of murdering 2 tourists accidentally, he's never been better suited for his life solving crime. At this pivotal moment in his life, he gets a case revolving around a best-selling author, Catherine Trammell. Not only is she a gifted writer, she is an acute intellectual and possible sociopath who uses her sexuality and charisma to charm those she writes about and to satisfy her urges. Catherine is writing a book about Nick, but will he survive to see how the story ends? Basic Instinct.
Yeah, your pronunciation of tourists.
I don't know where that came from.
Tourists. One of my first notes is the great Rob Bottin on makeup from The Thing. And RoboCop.
Wow.
Total Recall. Mission Impossible 1. Fight Club. 7. The Fog. Witches of Eastwick. Legend. The Howling. We've covered a lot.
We did The Howling.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of Rob.
Okay.
I made a note. That was like my second thing that I wrote down. And the credits were
second
rolling.
notes already. We're already in our second note.
Yeah. So, Pardo, you had watched this in the past. What's your history with
let's get into it.
Sexy movies like Basic Instinct? Do you have a history with Michael Douglas and or Sharon Stone?
I guess I don't really have a history other than I've seen some of his movies. I've seen The Game. I haven't seen, he's in Greed, right? Or Wall Street?
Wall Street.
Like I haven't seen that. But I knew of this movie. You know, this was you're eyeing this at Blockbuster every time.
Yeah.
You know, what is this movie? You know,
Can
me
I
as a
sneak this
10-year-old
out?
boy. What is this movie? What is a Basic Instinct? But yeah, I hadn't watched it until 2023. Oh, it's been 2 years. And I mean, I had the time of my life, probably the first viewing.
Yeah, he had done Fatal Attraction. Fatal Attraction was 1987. Danny, you brought that up. Glenn Close, Ann Archer, directed by Adrian Lyne, famous horny director of Lolita. Danny, what's your backstory with Michael Douglas and these kinds of movies?
These kinds of movies.
Yeah.
I don't think I have any history with this kind of smut. Or Douglas, to be honest. I don't really, I mean, I've seen The Game. But other than that, I don't have any history with Douglas either. I mean, or Sharon. And honestly, every time I thought of Basic Instinct, I kept thinking this was the movie Species.
That's so funny.
I get them confused, or I got them confused. I thought the scene was in Species.
Mm-hmm.
But
Another horny movie.
Yeah, I don't have any history, and this is my first time seeing this film. But I mean, I've known about the big scene in this forever.
Scene.
It's like in the zeitgeist of cinema forever.
I looked up Disclosure on Letterboxd, and the backdrop photo of Michael Douglas is like not
That's
flattering at all. 1994 Disclosure. Barry Levinson. What is he doing directing this movie? Sex is Power. Computer specialist is sued for sexual harassment by a former lover turned boss who initiated the act forcefully, which threatens both his career and his personal life.
Is this the Demi Moore one?
Yeah, that's the Demi Moore is the boss in more ways than one, folks.
And that's what it looks like in this film.
The poster too.
Yeah, the poster is extremely horny. Has Demi ever looked better?
Jeez.
We'll get into it week 5 down the line. But for right now, it's Basic Instinct.
We know when the next 5th week is?
We could probably verify that date if we wanted to. I think I
Calendars.
rewatched Basic Instinct maybe when I was doing a sort of Paul Verhoeven journey, because he has quite the oeuvre of films. Obviously, RoboCop and the sci-fi stuff is fantastic. Showgirls is up there. People love that.
Starship Troopers.
Starship Troopers. But he's got some other movies, non-English language. So I was watching, let's see, what did I watch? I watched Elle. I think this was maybe around when Benedetta was coming out, and it was kind of a thing. And then I watched Basic Instinct, and it was hot. It was hot. It's a hot scene. And I was like researching the backstory of the movie, which I found fascinating. But also like, this movie, I think, really kicked off a modern era of like erotic thrillers. And, in mainstream movies, I mean, like we said, like, I think this made $400 million. God, that seems like
on a $50 million budget
today. On a $50 million movie, like a horny movie like this in today's economy.
Yeah,
it's not happening. Today's climate,
nuts.
It's so crazy. Proto, what is at the top of your list for Basic Instinct?
Top of my list is the maybe this is why I watched it originally. The top of my list is the noir of it all. This movie has a neo-noir. Probably that would make sense. 2023. I was probably watching a lot of noir movies. I kind of fell in love with the genre.
Weren't you on a noir-y journey? Remember?
We made a shirt.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Noir journey.
We did do that. Maybe
someone bought a shirt.
Yeah, and I love that about this movie. Just the look and the feel of it. I mean, the shots of them driving to her house, this cliffside house.
Yeah.
The ocean waves, this property that she has, the music, the winding roads. I was thinking, I read a review, someone brought up Hitchcock, and it kind of reminds me a lot of Hitchcock in those scenes. Even maybe like the beginning of The Shining. But I get a lot of Vertigo vibes when I watch this, just like the air of mystery with the theme. Of course, the femme fatale angle of it. And there's so many great twists and turns in this movie of just like, you think one thing's going on, something else happens. When you first see a woman who you think is Catherine, it's actually Roxy, her girlfriend, and she points her to the different house. The partner of it, and Douglas's character just trying to solve this mystery, but also not die. I don't know. It has so many qualities that I love about movies, and I've really fallen in love with this kind of genre of movie that I just have like the time of my life watching this story unfold.
Yeah. I feel the same way. It's a fun movie to watch. Like, even if you the sex is a big part of it, but like that Hitchcockian thriller stuff is so apparent. And also the movie looks amazing. Jan de Bont, ever heard of him? Cinematographer.
Which one did he direct? We covered one he directed.
It's not Twister.
Yeah, thank you.
But it just looks like an expensive, well-made movie too. It kind of gives off Hitchcock vibes, in my opinion. But yeah, like the twists and turns are pretty well done, I thought. Like, even this is like the second time I've really seen it in the last few years, but I kind of forgot what the hell the ending of the movie was.
I did too.
I was like, wait, is it Beth? Because it actually would make sense if it's Beth, or is it Roxy? Because it does a pretty good job of making you wonder who it is really, even though it almost feels obvious the whole time. And then you're like, well, wait, is it? So yeah, I agree. Like, it's a fun journey. Like, it does get long. Like, I think it's too long, but it's pretty fun to watch and kind of try to unwrap the mystery, at least for me, Danny.
It's really funny you guys brought up Hitchcock right away, because that was my first note. But I'm in like the opposite boat, because I started getting annoyed on how much it felt like it was a ripoff of Hitchcock. Like it was really bugging me. Even Goldstein's
The
Jerry,
score.
his score felt like dollar store Bernard Herrmann. I don't know. It was like really bugging me how much this felt just ripping off Vertigo. Even like shots down the stairwell. I'm like, what are we doing, Paul? It was just driving me nuts how much this felt like it. But it didn't really take away from how much I love the story, though. I do find the twists and turns. And I mean, honest to God, right up until the end, I didn't really know what to expect. I mean, it really did have me until the final shot of the ice pick under the bed. I was like, oh, okay. I mean, she's it. She's the killer, right? I mean, or is she not?
Is she?
That's the thing. Like I was still left kind of questioning the end. And I even told Casey, I'm like, I mean, this outside of all the sex scenes, which I feel like are whatever, the story of this movie is pretty great.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Sharon Stone's character.
I mean, her whole arc is brilliant.
Yeah.
I love her.
First of all, Sharon Stone is an absolute fox in this movie.
I was reading she was like
Absolute
12th in
fox.
line for this film.
Alpha
How?
Fox.
She should have been number 1 through 12.
She was like 12th in line, and Michael didn't even want her at all. I'm like,
Michael, are you insane?
I read that Meg Ryan was also up for it. I'm like, that's not
No
possible.
way.
That's not possible.
She ended up doing a sexy movie with In the Cut later.
Was it the Ruffalo one?
That's the Ruffalo one where she gives that's a topic for another day.
I think this is the topic for today.
But yeah, Sharon Stone is probably like one of my first. I just wrote Sharon Stone is stunning. Her first appearance, it's like when he goes to investigate her, and then I think he like gives her a ride home. She's like, "Can you give me a ride?" In my head, like, you guys are gonna have sex. We all know that, right? Like, Michael, you know it at this point.
Right.
Like, she is, it's like not like the IMDb calls it like insatiable, but she has like this aura about her that I feel like no man could deny. Like, she is just so powerful in so many ways.
I'm no man.
Yeah.
She's ravishing.
I'm like terrified of her. Like if I met her
scary.
in real life, I would be terrified because the way she's presented as also like, I love how you get a sense that she is really like a genius, right? She's a brilliant writer. She has a double, master's or whatever in like psychology too. And she's like, she's playing Michael Douglas's character like a fiddle. I mean, she's playing everybody. Her just like not needing a lawyer and like, dancing on top of all of these guys. Like, she is terrifying. She would eat me alive. Like she's an apex predator of like human society. Yeah. She's so scary. But I'd be a puddle. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. God, yeah, she's so good. I wrote like, let's see, I loved like how they reveal that first scene where the musician dude gets murdered. Also, when he gets that ice pick in the head, I didn't remember that scene.
Oh my God.
Good Lord.
Well, that's the director's cut.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the scene the first bit of him getting hacked up is actually removed from theatrical to keep it rated R.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So if you watch the Paramount stream, I think that's the director's cut.
Oh, God bless Paramount.
Yeah.
But the cops talking about the bed, I'm not going to say it out loud what they say. I don't want that audio file existing in the world.
I was cackling. Casey and I were dying.
It's just so crazy. Also, that scene has like one of my favorite bits in movies where like multiple people are talking at the same time, like over each other. I just think that's like such a small little detail that I love. But like that scene is funny, but her first appearance where they show like Roxy is also ravishing. I feel like I loved her character, and like he thinks that she's her,
Yeah.
but she's just kind of like the lover friend. And then they show her at the beach house, like expecting him. She's got the newspaper. She knows about him already.
Yeah, she's playing him.
Oh my God. Like he had to have known at that point, like, oh man, I'm screwed at this point.
I mean, back to the guy's line in that scene when he sees the sheets. I can't remember where I read it, but they said, imagine your first line in a film is that, and that's how you get your SAG card.
Oh my God. I'm trying to see some of my other notes about Sharon. I mean, the character herself, there's a lot of parts that just kind of like unwind, like the Beth character. I mean, there's just the women in this movie. Beth, Jean Triplehorn, she is like this cop psychiatrist who is responsible for allowing Michael Douglas to get back on the force, but they're in a relationship and it's just kind of okay in the police office. It's
None of that makes sense.
What? Who is okaying this in any way? They should both be like on,
Where's
some
HR?
kind of, where is HR to settle this?
Time.
But she was like in love with him. She'd do whatever to get him out of this stuff. Her character was fascinating. And also just her character arc. Like she just alludes to maybe hearing about Sharon Stone in her like work, but then it's revealed that they were close. They had a relationship. That stuff was pretty well done. And like I said, I completely forgot. So Danny, I'm not sure. Were you kind of just like guessing to see like, did you believe any of that side story? Did it make you wonder?
100% believed it, especially when they got to the point of revealing that she changed her hair from blonde to brunette. I was like, oh, dang, it's been her the whole time. This or whatever her role is, has been playing him. I was kind of shocked because it really did throw me. I was like, oh, damn, they found her. It was her. It was never Sharon. So yeah, that was, I mean, I like that. This story is really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even though it feels in some ways like very convenient, it's like, oh, so the killer is actually the person he's working with, and they had a relationship before and they went to college together. And like, it's like all of these things that perfectly line up. But like when I'm in the movie, like, I don't really care that it's like that convenient. Cause it's just so fun. Like it's such a fun movie. And once you're at that point, it's like you're on the roller coaster and you're already going down. Like you're on the ride. Everything's been set up and it's just like dominoes falling over with each new revelation.
Danny, was that one of your points, or do you have a first point?
Let's just talk about the man of the hour. Wayne Knight. I feel like Wayne Knight and Sharon Stone are the only two that turned in a solid performance in this film. His interrogation of Sharon made me laugh, and I think he's really funny. I'm joking about Wayne Knight, but yes, I love him. Let's talk about Michael Douglas. I don't get the appeal of Michael Douglas, and I've only seen a couple films. I'm watching this thinking this guy is a dud. Like I don't understand the act. I don't see it. Maybe it's how people view Costner, and I see Costner through rose-colored lenses, I guess, but I don't see it for Michael. And the writing of this character made me like hate him. Like
he's absolutely repulsive.
I really hated this character. The assault on Jean Triplehorn's character really came out of nowhere. I didn't understand that aspect of the film either, and how it was written and treated as well. It really bugged me. And then I was kind of thrown after that. I was like, I don't care. Like, can we go ahead and ice pick the shit out of Michael now? Because get him out of the film. Like, I don't want to watch any more of this guy. I was just so thrown off by him that it really kind of bugged me. How everyone else in this movie where he's the lead is better than him. I don't know. I was bugged. I was really bugged me.
I feel like he was the Pedro Pascal of the 90s.
That's an interesting point. But I don't know. I just find Michael to be a complete dud, but also the way his character's written made me just hate him the entire time. So then there's like the combination of those two things. I'm like, I don't know. Get him out of my face. I hope you get killed. Honest to God. You're such an idiot anyway.
Yeah, it's tough because his character sucks eggs in this movie. Like the scene with Gene Triplehorn, in my opinion, that's like him. He's just like horny to the brink based on Sharon Stone, and he's trying to like find an outlet for what she could offer him. And Beth is not in the mood, which doesn't come off well at all. It just like he literally could not be any more of a repulsive human being. Right. Like he murdered 2 tourists that under shady circumstances to start the movie. He's addicted to drugs. His whole unit knows, and yet they still kind of just like keep him around. I mean, Beth probably shouldn't have given him the green light to come back. Have you watched The Game? I don't know if
I like The Game.
Yeah, he's good in The Game. But I mean, his character is different. But
that's Fincher.
Yeah, I feel like when I'm watching movies of his, I feel like I can't really see it just as Michael Douglas as an actor. It's almost like he has like this, pedigree. I think of like, oh, Michael Douglas, the guy who's done all these movies in the 80s and 90s. And yeah, I don't really know. Like, I don't have a strong opinion about him. I just think it's just fascinating that he has these kind of movies and they're all kind of similar. Because I watched Fatal Attraction a couple weeks ago, and I mean, it's just like more of like this. It's just like it's like an alternate universe of this Michael Douglas character in a different life. So like that's fascinating.
Can you imagine if Pedro was on the run of erotic thrillers? The absolute state of the internet if Pedro was in these kinds of movies.
He can't say daddy on one TikTok without it melting down.
I mean, let me just read the disclosure synopsis again. Disclosure IMDb. But imagine it's a new Pedro movie. A computer specialist is sued for sexual harassment by a former lover turned boss who initiated the act forcefully, which threatens both his career and personal life, starring Pedro Pascal and Demi Moore.
And Demi's still in it.
They just remake Disclosure.
Dang, yeah, I don't know. I was just kind of thrown from him, and it just also felt like, is this the first time you've had sex with a woman on camera before? Michael, this is how you do it? Please.
Maybe that's what it is, because he has a particular way with women,
Yeah, bad.
Maybe it's just like that was, that's what, like, he got these roles. I don't know. Like the way his, the whole like mouth open, tongue on someone's face, it's just such a weird move. And he does it in like all of his movies. I've noticed it. It's like the Jimmy Stewart face rub.
It's an homage to Jimmy
Douglas
Stewart.
Does the tongue
he's
lick.
ripping off Vertigo.
I mean, what can they? So if they're like trying, I feel like if they did anything else, it would stay in NC-17 territory. I feel like it has to be.
No, what we watched
theatrical.
was NC-17 territory. The director's
they included longer sex scenes in the version that we watched.
Yeah.
I mean, there's 3 of them that are like very explicit.
They're long.
It's very
the stuff cut out of the theatrical was his face getting ice picked in the beginning, the sexual assault with Triplehorn. That kind of starts where they're like on the wall.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to them done and talking to each other.
Oh,
There's no moment of her saying no.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, that was removed. And then one of the sex scenes is cut down between him and Sharon.
What about when his head is between her legs? Was that included?
That may have been cut down.
When they're you see them make eye contact betwixt her legs.
This scene changed lives in 1992. Okay. How about when he walks to the bathroom after that boning sesh and he's letting it all hang out?
Just wagging.
I mean, I saw Michael Douglas hanging brain a few times in this movie.
Oh my God.
Feel free to zoom in, folks, if your TV has the capability.
Enhance. Zoom in and pause and enhance.
How about him using that police computer where he's just typing in words to get like more information about somebody? Can't it just present the person's file at the first search? Oh my God, what a waste of time. I could run like the entire department with my computer knowledge back then. I'd be like a head of the West Coast
Head of IT.
computers. Holy
my God.
moly. Pro, next on your list.
How about his partner Gus,
Yeah.
played by what's his name? Drew? Is it Drew?
Drew Struzan.
Drew Struzan. No, George Zunda. I love this guy. I love this character so much. I love him as kind of, I mean, I guess he's kind of like the comic relief, but it's not, I mean, he is funny, but it's just kind of like, you know, Michael Douglas going into a boning session, and then like we need a moment to like decompress, and we have Gus do the decompression for us. But I just love that character. He had so many great lines that are just like the writing in this is wild. He has one line. I think it's when they first like identify Catherine Chamel, and they have that like psychiatrist who's like giving the rundown of like if like this woman is the murderer, like who she could actually be, like what would her psyche have to be this person? Mm-hmm. And he says, "We got a once in a lifetime, top of the line, Looney Tooney, the way you cut it." That's what you're saying, right, Doc? It's such like a crazy line in the way he delivers it. But there's so many lines like that. So I love that character, and just like the play with him and Michael Douglas.
Mm-hmm. That would have been Tom Arnold in any other year. that actor.
I like this death too. I thought it was pretty brutal, but the lead up to him trying to get caught, getting trapped in the elevator, I thought was a really great moment.
Boy, man, he bites it hard.
Yeah.
Dang. How crazy too was when he shoots Beth thinking she had a gun, and he finds the keys in the pocket. His reaction that he like literally just did it again.
Yeah.
He murdered two tourists.
Damn.
God,
what's
my
with
girlfriend?
the Bart Simpson keychain?
Oh my God.
That's a
What is
reference.
the world?
Very timely. Let's talk about the scene. This interrogation scene. I feel like I had heard about this.
Yeah.
I don't even know from what age. It was like the most known scene in the history of movies.
Was it ever homaged in Simpsons? Had to be.
Yes.
Oh
Groundskeeper Willie was wearing a kilt. Thank you. William P. already had the GIF set up.
Oh, he was ready.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I remember like hearing about this scene and it just being so scandalous, and it is scandalous. I think even today, like, would any modern actress do that now?
Yeah.
In a mainstream movie?
Like,
would Florence Pugh do this?
She almost
did. She got close.
Yeah.
No, you're thinking of Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer showed his.
Everything was close in Oppenheimer.
But yeah, I read that they have a he said, she said story about filming it. Like, he says that she was okay with it. She saw the footage on the TV, but that once the movies, they saw it in theaters for the first time, he says that like her PR team freaked the F out. Mm-hmm. And that she says, you know, I never agreed to show that in the movie. I'd read that they have since made up, but I can't find any story corroborated either way. But
that they've made up? No,
I mean that like you told me this wasn't going to happen.
Oh. Yeah, because all word of mouth.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, but it's still a crazy scene. In character, in movie, it's wild and it fits with her.
Yeah.
Like, she's just totally trying to psych them out and melt them into putty, and it works. But yeah, it's a wild scene.
Yeah, the thing I read, I think, was from her memoir. Exactly how you said it. Then she said, eventually she came around and was like, yeah, it fits the movie. She just wanted to be a part of the conversation. Like, I feel like that's the hurtful part, is like Verhoeven didn't just tell her he was going to do this or have the conversation. Because she does seem like, she said she felt like she would have been on board if it was just the conversations were had. Mm-hmm. But to lie to her about it does feel like also that probably happened.
Isn't there also another story that anytime Verhoeven asked anyone to be naked on his sets, that he would also be naked during those shots?
I have
Stop.
read
There's
that.
no way. Are you serious?
In Starship Troopers, he filmed their non-gender specific shower
Yeah.
scene. He was also naked filming that.
I don't like this guy.
But he's also like Danish,
Dutch.
Dutch, and like, sex. Ooh, we love sex. Americans hate sex. But with a Danish Dutch accent.
Yeah, but how he filmed sex in this, we're like, well, we hate yours kind of sex. It's kind of boring, dude.
I just imagine like a behind the scenes photo of like them shooting the Michael Douglas Sharon Stone sex scene.
His ass hanging out.
Hanging out there.
He's mirroring her moves behind Wayne Knight.
Oh my God. Oh God. I mean, there's a few scenes in the bed where Sharon is letting it, like remember the mirror over her bed?
Insane.
She's giving him an old fashioned.
Is that what that is? Stupid ass.
I'm like self-editing.
This is not just a movie about sex, it's a movie about love.
Where did that come from?
That was Kev from ADP. Sorry, I was listening to the most recent episode of
my
Also Danger Pod, and
God.
Kev said that, and it was a clean edit, and I made a mental note. I was like, 37 minutes. Remember that when I get home to cut that. Boy. But yeah, I mean, there's a few scenes where like, I guess I could correct that. I don't know if Sharon Stone was a major name based on the money that she made. Like I have her filmography, so it's probably a little different. But this was this pre-Casino?
Oh, she's dynamite in Casino.
Let me scroll real quick here. Yeah, this is. I mean, she has a lot of credits before this, but I guess maybe not like a mainstream name. I think this did change her career.
Yeah, I said to Casey while watching, when we pass the scene, and it's like, and all I remember of her being upset about that scene, I'm like, I'm seeing all of her still. I'm not sure what she's upset about.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's very much naked in the whole film.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, oh, we got to figure out this story because I'm confused now.
She's got a great figure.
Yeah.
Danny, next on your list?
God, we've talked about, oh, Jesus Christ. I'm going back to Michael here. This bugged me so much I could barely get to the scene. The green V-neck sweater in the club drove me absolutely insane watching him. I was getting sweaty, not in the good way. I was like, dude, what are we doing? This isn't the 90s. This doesn't even feel like 90s. I was so frustrated at that green V-neck. It really pissed me off.
He looked incredible.
No, he did not.
He looked
did
amazing.
Not. He probably had a braided belt under that too.
I've rocked that V-neck.
I knew you would say that. You're out of your mind.
She was she wanted him. She was high on cocaine.
She was on coke.
She saw him in that sweater, they almost did it right in the dance floor there.
His desperation.
Everybody did.
When she closes that stall door with her leg, God, and he's out, like he's just panting like a dog in his V-neck.
That's because it's the sweater in a club. He looked like
he
an
knew
idiot.
what he was getting into. I mean, this is all he had. He's a detective.
That's his one good look.
Like, what am I going to wear in the club? And he's like, I got this V-neck. I'll just wear nothing underneath. That's the best I got.
He could have just worn one of his police suits to that club. Maybe just take the suit jacket off.
It was terrible.
I thought he looked great.
It drove me nuts.
I mean, he got action with that sweater on. So, I mean, 1992, he knew what he was doing.
She's playing him. There's no action he's getting.
I mean, technically, he did get action.
Whether or not it was
it had nothing to do with the V-neck.
Yeah, the bone of the century, he said.
She probably saw the V-neck and was like, shit, I'm too far in now. I guess I have to bang him in this V-neck.
He wasn't he wasn't wearing the V-neck when they banged later. That V-neck was on the floor. You said
they almost did on the floor.
They almost did in the dance floor.
She's like, I can't do this.
That was
not in the
simulated.
V-neck.
That was
I can't do it in the V-neck.
Simulated. Oh my God. strong sexual. What was the rating? Strong sexual content.
I don't know.
Remember the rating system on like TV? It would say like SS something. Someone's in chat that knows. Reveal yourself.
No one knows.
Proto.
So I was watching this, I don't know if it was last night, but Jenna came down into the room and I paused it and like explained like what was going on. This movie like best I could in 2 minutes. And I was like, it's a very sexual movie, it's a thriller. She's like, all right. And I think this was like, it might have been like at the club scene. And I'm like, and the whole time I'm like, she's a very dangerous woman. Like this, Sharon Stone. It's going to get very sexual. And I'm just trying to prep her for what's like about to happen. And then like when they do it, like I just had to keep looking over at Jenna because I mean, the scene, it feels like it's 5 minutes long.
It is.
And Jenna's like mouth was the
excuse me.
The one I can't remember. There's like 3 sex scenes, right? Maybe this was the first one with them. Yeah, it must have been the first one. Yeah, on the bed, the mirror, not before he gets tied up. But Jenna's mouth just agape at like seeing what's happening on the screen. I mean, it's really, you think of like sex scenes in movies. This is kind of like in a league of its own in terms of how serious it gets, I would say.
I agree. In like mainstream film, like I'm not talking about someone referencing, oh, you haven't seen this movie. Blah, blah, blah. I'm talking about like mainstream. This has 2 stars in it. Like it's pretty intense for 1992.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel the power. I feel the power of this, this sex. Like it's the thing about this. What I love about Verhoeven is he's like a carnal filmmaker. Yeah, and I don't love all of his movies. It's actually, of all his movies, this reminds me probably of Showgirls the most, which I did not like that movie, but I feel like this is kind of like it's related in some ways. But just like that carnality and like the way, I mean, just the sexual drive between these characters. It's so, I find it like so well expressed. So like these scenes to me make sense within this movie. Of like, they're over the top. It's insane kind of, but he's like trying to capture that, like, I mean, the unspoken, primal lust that you have with another person. I mean, this is the wordless chorus, that My Morning Jacket, sings about, right? I mean, this is where your fingers are consonants and your lips are vowels, right? And you're sharing breath. I mean, this is the language that existed before we even had words to speak. Listen, before we were speaking, we were boning. Okay, that's a fact.
Oh my God.
Oh no.
And the other mainstream sex movie that I can think of that had come out, Adrian Lyne came back in 2022 to do a Ben Affleck movie with Ana de Armas called Deep Water. Remember that movie? Came out on Hulu a couple years ago.
Oh yeah.
That was
a pandemic movie?
Or Pandemic.
Ben Affleck's that.
That was the closest that I can think of to like, 2 stars being in a sexy movie. It wasn't like super sexy, but I think it was billed as like an erotic thriller, and Adrian Lyne, the all-time master of sexy movies. Indecent Proposal. Oh my God, Adrian Lyne was the director of Unfaithful with Richard Gere and Diane Lane. That movie. Wow. That was West Coast Video era when I was working there. Diane Lane. Yeah, I agree. Very primal. Very primal, folks.
I thought it was just okay. If I can be honest. I think I expected more.
The scene.
The sex.
Yeah, and I'm not saying it's like the best sex ever.
Well, he said it. Fuck of the century.
Yeah, I mean, after the century, 1992 mainstream movies, sure.
I mean, this guy's also killed 2 tourists, though.
Right.
I mean, he's not working with a full deck.
I mean, also you could see his demeanor after they bone. Like he's like walking up to her, like rubbing his hand over her face. I'm like, Michael, please.
I also love
Even
after
she was
the fact.
cringing.
Yeah, after the fact, like when he comes to visit her at the house, she was like, "It was good," or she's like, "It was, it was okay." Like to her, it was just another night with somebody else.
Right.
That's how I felt watching it.
And this guy has never had anything besides missionary sex in his life. And he sees Sharon Stone and he's probably some self-editing.
You gotta self-edit.
So use your imagination.
Oh no.
Let me see if I have anything else. I probably got, let's see. I got my Menchie's, to be honest. The Coroco, I can't even say it.
yeah.
What did you just say?
Coroco logo to start the movie. Iconic music. The lighting during the sex scene is insane. Sharon's body, where the murder scene, the murder sex scene. His house, that musician's house.
Yeah,
That was an insane home. I think the cops were realizing that walking around.
Sharon's home was bonkers. The walk
Yeah.
down to the beach. Excuse me.
110 million in the bank she had.
Yeah.
I don't make any rules. I go with the flow. Words to live by. I like how she said the exact same thing that the doctors said she'd say. Do you remember that, where they're like talking through the book writing? She's like, it's the perfect alibi. We're like, why would I do this if I had written a book? I'd look like an idiot. And then she like says the exact thing that they had said.
Yeah.
Just to show how smart she is. Have you ever effed on cocaine, Nick? She asked him during the interrogation. Oh my God. When she was like calling him but Nick at the interrogation. I loved how she offers him to smoke so often, to like try to break
She got
him.
him all back into it. Smoking, drinking.
He was powerless. He thought he had power, but he had none.
He had nothing.
MI2 homage, where they were driving together.
Oh.
I loved the car that he had. That is like the prototypical.
His 5.0 Mustang?
No, I'm sorry, his cop car. His like undercover squad car.
The Oldsmobile, whatever.
Yeah, that's like the
Yeah, I love
prototypical police car, like unmarked. It's such a classic design.
Mm.
When she's breaking up the ice
Oh my God.
with him on the counter and then like it drops on the floor and she doesn't pick it up. Who's picking up that ice?
It melts and then
Yeah,
dries.
you're going to have to mop up that water.
You need a dog for.
No one's mopping up any liquids in that house.
This is not just a movie about sex, it's a movie about love.
She's hanging at his apartment. Oh yeah, she like comes to his apartment, and they have like wine or something. God, he has like the blue balls that he has in this movie, just trying to get his hands on her is insane. Did we just see his wanger? I wrote after they
A couple times.
worked.
Confirmed.
How about that bathroom is not even like a real bathroom? It's just people doing blow and drugs in that
Right,
bathroom.
yeah.
It's just another part of the
biggest
club.
bathroom I've ever seen. There's so much space. When she's going down, no, I'm not gonna.
Self-edit.
Drunk
God.
Gus and his tongue. What the hell was I
What?
writing? What is?
Oh, he
drunk-
does the like. I can't. I'm not doing it. It's a podcast, folks.
Open-ended ending. Yeah, I love the story.
Mhm.
I think this movie is a lot of fun. It's too long, I think, but still fun. I'm still at 4 stars for Basic
Okay.
Instinct.
Have you seen the second?
No,
With
I have
Sharon?
no desire to see that.
Oh,
Money grab. I mean, get paid, but
yeah.
I think it's like a 1.9.
We
on
love you,
Letterboxd or
Sharon, but
something.
no. Screw you, Sharon.
Yeah, get paid, Sharon. Love you.
Interesting.
You earned it. Proto?
Let's see. My mentions. This felt like metaphorical with like, that scene at the beginning, the green light on a hog, just thinking about the months to come. A lot of talk about August, October could
Gosh.
be.
People were saying.
Maybe it's a sign. Oh, we didn't get to make a San Francisco tenderloin joke this episode. So there it is.
That's like one of the dumbest running gags in the show, where someone says San Francisco and I say like deep cut or the tenderloin. And we just chuckle to ourselves.
She has so many great lines. He gave me a lot of pleasure when talking about her boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, when they're in the car, the lighting on their car, when they're in the car, she says, you know I don't wear any underwear, Nick. Gosh, Sharon. Dangerous woman. I also love the lighting in the interrogation scene. Just the whole setup of that room is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's funny because I feel like in a lot of the other parts of the movie, and when I think of Verhoeven's movies, they're often, I don't know if overlit is the right word, but everything feels like there isn't many shadows at certain parts. It's just like very bright. And then he has these scenes like the interrogation scene or they'll just have moments where it's much different. So I kind of like that, how it goes back and forth.
Yeah.
I wrote down the theme. This theme piece of music reminds me of Batman '89 a lot.
It did have it.
Oh, them snuggling in the nude on the window, like the windowsill, is such a weird scene.
It looked uncomfortable. I don't know if they literally were just banging there, and that's where they just ended up. It didn't really make any sense otherwise.
Yeah, let's transition to the couch or something, please.
Let's get off the bed and go lay on the windowsill.
Yeah, I think that's about it. I feel like the ending kind of feels a little tacked on to me. I feel it's kind of strange. Like when Gus goes into the hotel to meet her and the elevator stops the 2 times, it's kind of like, why is the elevator stopping on each of these floors?
I'm not sure why that happened.
Yeah, it just feels like it's total for the suspense. And then when Michael Douglas, it's almost like he doesn't realize anything. He's just like sitting in the car and then he's just like, oh my God. And he just like runs in for almost like no reason at all.
Was there something in the window that I just didn't see?
I didn't see anything either.
No, I feel like he just almost like had a change of heart. I feel like that was like the perfect moment for him to have some other kind of revelation, but it's not there unless it's like in his head.
Mm-hmm.
And then like, yeah, just like, her getting shot, it kind of feels messy, the ending, almost like they didn't have like I don't know. It just doesn't feel like it has like the perfect bow at the end of the story for me, but I love the ride so much. And it's not like it really bothers me a ton, but it's just that the ending feels a little funny. But for the most part, I just love this movie. I had such a blast watching it, and 2 years later watching it and feeling like it was still almost like fresh. I guess it's so convoluted that it's hard to remember what happens. But I'm still at 4 stars for this.
I think I read the screenplay was written in like 13 days. So I think that's probably why the ending feels a little bit tacked on, maybe. I had a good time watching this. I'll say that.
Okay.
I think the Hitchcockian of it kind of bugged me a bit because it almost just felt too on the nose, a lot of it. I've watched so much Hitchcock these days. It's like, I don't know. I couldn't look past the San Francisco vertigo of it all. It really drove me nuts. I once the sexual assault scene happened, I couldn't recover. I was a bit thrown about the movie and the choice of this movie and the Paul Verhoeven of it all. I think I'm at 3 stars. I didn't love this film. I think removal of a few things would help me like it more. The story as a whole, I enjoyed. I enjoyed this kind of murder mystery, but I don't think this was for me. I don't think most of Paul's stuff is for me, actually.
I would agree with that.
I'll say that for sure, even though I love Starship Troopers.
Same writer, Joe Esterhaas, as Showgirls and as Flashdance. Seems to be a character. I was like Googling him, and there was like a project that he almost worked with Mel Gibson on writing this was like post Mel Gibson drunk footage. Like he was going to write another historical epic, but about like the history of the Jews or something.
Oh no.
Very strange.
Oh no.
Very strange. If anyone wants to waits 30 minutes, there's a interview with Joe. He was going to write a book, or did write a book, about him working with Mel Gibson on this movie that never happened. It's really wild. Very strange.
Oh,
no. All right. Basic Instinct, done.
In the books.
Next week, we are officially starting Blockbusted Volume 3. Wait, do we have any emails? Yes, we do, actually. Oh, look at me remembering.
Proud of you.
Yeah.
Is it for this or for next week?
Let me check our starred folder here. Oh, it's for next week. Damn it.
I knew that.
Look at me incorrectly remembering.
It's okay.
Anywho, next week we're starting Blockbusted July, and it's Danny's pick.
Yeah. Postman.
The Postman.
1997. Kevin Costner.
Man's Man.
The Man's Man.
The first Man's Man?
It's a great call out.
Thank you.
The first on Manmore.
Mount Manmore. so stupid. We posted Danny's piece of art that like announced the month on Instagram. The amount of engagement on that post.
People like a plan.
Off the charts. Are we announcing the month in advance forever?
I mean, it seems like a smart move on our part.
Cripes alive.
First podcast to do it.
No other podcast is doing this, but they should think about it.
Yeah. Take notes.
Frodo, any closing thoughts this week?
Yeah, I'd like to give a movie recommendation. If you watch Basic Instinct and loved it like we all did, and you're looking for something, maybe similar vein, this movie, to see a man really fall into a web trap, his life destroyed in some ways, otherwise maybe redeemed. Similar movie, Bicentennial Man, starring Robin Williams.
Absolute psych.
Can you post the poster in chat that we were talking about when we recorded that episode? Oh my God. We'll see everybody next week. 1997, directed and starring Kevin Costner, The Postman. $70mm is a tape deck production featuring original artwork provided by Danny Haas. Spiritual guidance and V'ger, the robot who loves movies, provided by Pertalexis. Producer at large Dale_A. And music composed by Cinematrix. Prints and other merch are available on 70mmpod.com. This episode was mixed, edited, and produced by me, Slim. Support our Patreon for access to our VHS Village Discord to talk movies with new friends, access to our exclusive episodes in the 70mm vault, discounts on merch, uncut episodes, and a physical membership card mailed to you. To check out other Tape Deck podcasts, find the link in the episode notes. And if you'd like to support our friends at Letterboxd and upgrade to pro or patron status, you can do so with a 20% off discount using the links on 70mmpod.com. Goodbye.
This is a Tape Deck podcast.